A long time ago, I really cared about someone. I spent almost every single day with them, and they opened my eyes up to a world that I never knew existed. Up to this point, I was a really boring person. I was lonely and sad. I didn't have many friends, but I was really good at pretending like I did. I had my parents' money and I was good at Smash, but that was pretty much it. When this person entered my life, everything got better. I was happier, and it seemed like they were too. They showed me restaurants which served foods that became my new favorites. They took me to places which I never thought I'd be interested in, but it turned out I loved them. They put me on to their favorite music artists, which to this day are top 5 on my Spotify Wrapped. I wasn't a person with much substance before them, and I couldn't say I understood my emotions well until they put me into situations where I had to deal with them. That person did a lot for me. I felt invincible because of the love in our friendship. As we got older, and summer winded down though, life's responsibilities started to hit. School started and things got a lot tougher. Our friendship became plagued with arguments and disagreements. And on top of that, my first couple days were complete flops socially. I felt isolated, stressed, and bitter, and it totally leaked into my energy. Being around me just wasn't pleasant at all. And after each fight, things in our friendship became more strained. But I tried to just let it go, because why would I risk losing that friendship by pushing the issue longer than it needed to go? But in reality, it was just putting a band-aid on a stab wound. It didn't solve the fundamental issue, because sometimes we wouldn't treat each other correctly, and I had trouble committing to changing myself because of how much was happening around me. One day, it all came to a head where we fought for the final time. Things were said that couldn't be taken back, and by the morning, we were no longer in each other's lives. In the coming weeks, there were flashes of hope that the bridge might have been able to be mended, but unfortunately it never came to fruition. That didn't sit right with me for a lot of reasons, and I tried really hard to come to terms with it. I spent so much energy trying to become a better person in hopes one day they'd see me and be proud. More than that, I wanted to tell them, more than anything, how much better I wished I had handled all the situations back then, and everything I've learned and all of the ways I've grown. All of my new passions and my new friends and experiences, how I've been working out, upgrading my wardrobe, and how much I've been traveling, how far I've gotten in Smash, how back when we were friends, I was unranked, and now I'm the West Coast's greatest Inkling player of all time. How I lost the car we used to drive around in back then. And most importantly, how I finally understood the importance of relationships in my life, because in the final times we talked, they absolutely cooked me on all of these things. And I wanted to show them that, hey, I actually listened to them. Not even to get that person back into my life, but just to be acknowledged by the person who inspired me to get all of this shit together. Unfortunately, I was never able to do that. Every time I reached out to them, I got nothing but radio silence in return. Birthdays passed and I got nothing. It was tough to come to terms with the idea that, in their eyes, I would never be truly forgiven or even acknowledged. And they'd always think of me as a version of myself that I'm glad to be very far from now. This haunted me for a ton of time, honestly. Even when I began undergoing self-improvement for my own self, I could never shake the feeling from the back of my mind that, damn, there's someone out there who still sees me as the immature kid I was back then. The kid who thought he knew everything, who had no consideration for others. Thankfully, years passed and I eventually found peace in my heart. I learned something that genuinely changed my life when it came to instances such as these, which is that you can't really be mad at yourself when you know you gave your all. And I don't mean just saying you tried really hard, because that's a fat cope. I mean, you dedicated an aspect of your life for this for some time. You've exhausted all possible options and routes to make something happen. And this goes for everything, not just dealing with people. Like, when I show up to class every day, took super detailed notes, studied, did my homework, did all the extra credit, and kissed the teacher's ass. But I still couldn't get the A. Because sometimes it's just not meant to work out. And it wasn't meant to work out because there's always something better out there for you. Whether it's reuniting years down the road as two completely different people, or meeting someone who you never thought would enter your life. When things are fully out of your control, you just have to let it go. Because you did everything possible on your side, and now you have to leave it up to the universe. And if the universe says no, it's not necessarily a bad thing, because you never know what's going to happen years down the line. But if one thing is guaranteed, it's that as long as you try to be better than you were yesterday, things will always work out. So let's just let the past go.